Hi, darling.
Hello.
We're back.
Hope this is going.
I hope it's going too.
It looks like it is.
It looks like it is. Yep, there it is, right there. There's the clock.
It is. Welcome back to Catt and Kristen.
Welcome back, kids. Hope you have missed us and stuff.
Oh, Arsenio's here.
And Arsenio is here.
There it is. So in case you missed our first episode, Catt and Kristen is a brand new live show podcast where we are talking all about our cosplay lives, the community, etc.
And everything in between.
Everything in between. And my name is Kristen.
And my name is Tomcat.
There we are. There it is. So today, this weekend was New York Comic Con.
Was it though?
Was it though?
I literally feel like this entire weekend was just one giant blur where we were in costumes and doing silly stuff.
That's fair. And I was only there one day. You were there 2 days.
I was there 2 days.
Yeah.
I really was there 2 days.
Yep.
Well, I guess we'll just dive right into it. Now, let me start by saying
it's never good when you've got a precursor.
Let me start by saying that I was in the group of people that was like, I'm boycotting New York Comic Con. I'm not going.
Yep, absolutely. And I was part of the group of people that like I went one day this year because of that. I was like, I'm done with New York Comic Con shit. Here we are. It's like, but I'm still gonna do one day because I need to see my friends. So here we are.
And I mean that was literally one of the polls because you never fully realize how many people you actually are friends with until you go to a convention and then you see all of your people.
Completely.
And when the opportunity arose, I was just like, fuck it, I'll get into a costume and go party and do my thing.
Completely.
Why not?
Yep.
And it was very much a good experience for me overall.
Yeah,
all encompassing. It was a very good weekend for I'm assuming the both of us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way. I feel the same thoughts that I have about New York Comic Con every year. I tend to have the same thoughts this year of that. Just this year, it was the only problems I really had with it was that it was very, very corporate this year. It was the most corporate it has been, I think, this year than any other year. And just how crowded it was. Like, I was so... Artist Alley? I couldn't walk through Artist Alley. Like, I genuinely could not make it through, which was upsetting to me. But otherwise, I thought it was a very good experience.
As I was walking around on Thursday, I kept on saying to myself, this feels like a Friday.
Yeah.
This feels like everything is just brand new and there is just a massive amount of people.
Completely.
And I wasn't expecting that for a Thursday at New York Comic Con, but I guess Thursdays are gaining more popularity. Also, hi, Matthew, I see you. Senpai notices you, baby.
Oh, what up? Yes, it definitely, I mean, I was not there on Thursday. I was there on Saturday. So Saturday is a big, but I did notice that like this year, cause like I bought my tickets that I had a bunch of emails. What's happening? Oh yeah, it's a little pin. I have a little Haunted Mansion pin on. Sorry.
I noticed that.
I have a little pin that says Foolish Mortals on there. And that's what he noticed.
I did.
There it is. But yeah, this year I got so many emails from New York Comic Con being like, you can still get Thursday tickets. So I think that's what they did for everybody.
Kept on drilling that.
Yeah,
if I saw one more email that said, let's help you out. Let's do something for you. I'm like, are you gonna give them to me for free?
Yeah, exactly. That's what's happening. This is again doing the weird thing.
It's doing that weird thing again?
Yeah, I think. Oh no, never mind. We're updated. I'm wrong. Here we are.
What is happening? Oh,
all right.
Yeah, okay.
I'm wrong. All right. Okay.
We're fine.
We're here.
Okay. We're here.
Yes, yeah, Thursday, it seems like they were pushing it.
Thursday was crazy.
Yes, yeah.
And
go ahead.
No, I was just completely and totally floored because, I mean, you go to these conventions and you don't think that, I mean, you go to New York Comic Con at the very least, and you don't expect a Thursday, which is to people that aren't in the know. Thursday is usually the day when people are still setting up their booths. They're still trying to like get themselves acclimated to the convention.
A lot of people are still traveling to
the convention. A lot of people are still traveling to the convention, and it's so much so quickly. And then you blink and the weekend's over.
Yeah. Yes, that is very true.
But Thursday, to people that didn't know, I was Raven.
Yes! And debut of your Raven.
That was the debut of my Raven, and I looked gorgeous.
You did. I'm upset that I did not see that in person. I can't wait to see that in person. Do you think you're going to bring that cosplay to KatsuCon?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
KatsuCon is definitely going to be when I bring back Raven because it's such a fun costume and cape life.
Cape life.
Cape life.
You gotta live that
You
Cape
gotta
life.
live that
Here
Cape life, as I always wear.
Tom is literally I want everyone to know, this is not a cape. This is just purple fabric.
It's literally, that's all it is. That's all it is. Every time I do my videos or whatnot, or anytime I'm like in front of a camera, I'm just like, I need something that I can like play with.
You know what's so funny is I was just the other day, I was trying to explain why I think the shawl thing is your thing, and I think it's because you like having something. I like to
fuss. I like to fidget.
I do the same thing, so I understand. I get you.
And that's why I do these things. But
Raven.
with the Raven, I did make everything, and to those that go out of their way to work with EVA foam and styrofoam and different types of materials, I salute you. I definitely salute you. And I think three people I should say that really stood out to me were FE Cosplay in his Nightwing. I don't know his girlfriend's Instagram. Alley Cat. Aha!
Oh yeah,
I do know. Alley Cat as her Batgirl. I mean, the armor and the craft was majestic.
Ooh, armor.
And Arsenio as Aquaman with his gauntlets and his accoutrement. I salute you guys so much for working with these different types of materials and continuing to grow and do well with your craft. And I'm not saying that I'm on the rise, but I just...
No, it's amazing. I mean, that was, that this past year I made my first ever
you did the full armor.
Cosplay.
You did the full armor Dorothy.
My warrior, I did a warrior version of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. It was like an original design and all that sort of stuff. And it was the first cosplay where literally I reached the end of it and I was like, I did almost no sewing for this cosplay at all. And it was all armor work. And that is such a learning process. And everybody that's doing it is 100% just learning and working on their craft.
Literally trial by fire.
Yes, completely.
That's basically what cosplay is. It's trial by fire.
I will say one of the most amazing things was this weekend ran into a wonderful Breath of the Wild cosplayer who we immediately followed each other, and she was doing a character that I really want to do in the future, and it involved a lot of armor. And I think that there is a certain amount of camaraderie between people that work on armor, because she was literally like, if you ever decide to do this cosplay, I would 100%
I'll help you out with
scan my
this.
patterns. Yeah. She was like, I have my patterns, I'd scan them in for you if you want. And that's such a wonderful thing, because armor making is still, you live and learn, and you could be spending a lot of money learning. The learning process, EVA foam,
I do not know.
It's not inexpensive.
I genuinely want to know how much money a person spends on Warbler, EVA foam, paints, primers, just all that fun stuff. Because I mean, I spend a bundle on fabric as it is, and to incorporate armor into that, I'm just like, I am not made of money.
Well, I mean, even just to get cans, I think of back to the Warrior Dorothy stuff when I was using EVA foam for the first time, and for EVA foam, it's kind of best to prime it with Plasti Dip. Is that it?
Prime it with Plasti Dip.
And cans of that are really expensive.
Yes, they are.
Getting cans of that are super expensive, and you almost certainly will use quite a bit. On mine, I think I used something like 3 or 4 cans. It's a lot. You can be using a lot of that stuff, and it's not inexpensive whatsoever.
and that actually is I'm trying to think of what to say, and I'm
it's a learning.
It's definitely a learning
process.
Respect is given to people that can actually do and make the armor.
I love right now. We have a lot of people in the comments saying "Sad I missed you," "Sad I didn't see you." To either one of us.
We didn't even see each other. Saturday I get a text. Oh, I'm gonna be there as Sailor Mars. I'm gonna be there as Catwoman. I'm really looking forward to seeing you.
Yes,
and then it just did not happen.
No,
I don't care how.
Each other.
Right?
Yeah, I can't believe we missed each other.
One of my friends was also like, where are you? Where are you going to be? And I was like, I'm probably going to be in the tunnel.
The tunnel, yeah.
Or
that is where I was most of the time,
on
too,
outside
which is
of the
so funny.
And even though we were in the same area, we weren't able to see each other, stop and say hello for a couple of quick shots. But it didn't happen.
It didn't even happen. It did not even happen. It could be that's where New York Comic Con can also, any convention, using the last thing you kind of want to do is be on your phone the whole time too. So that can also make finding people difficult. And I with my Sailor Mars cosplay, I was wearing gloves too. So then you have to take off your gloves. gloves. You have to like the whole thing.
It's a process.
Yeah, it is a process. It sounds stupid. It is a very
no, it does because
problem.
It is a first world problem. Yeah. Cosplay problem. And I do want to say this: if there is ever a time when you miss me or Kristen or any of your other friends at a convention, it ain't like it's going to be the last time you're going to see us.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I will always go out of my way to talk to different people and to just reach out and say, hey, how's it going? What's new? How's life? This and that. And if we should happen along the way, it's beautiful. If we should happen to be in each other's presence, then glory to the newborn king.
Completely.
Which do we want to move on for? Oh no, you were Sailor Mars.
I was, so Saturday I was there as Sailor Mars, which is not a new. It isn't a new cosplay for me, but I've only done it once before. I premiered it at Anime Next a couple of months ago. I'm part of a bigger group called the Moon Menagerie. Go and follow us, etc. We could use it for sure. And so listen, getting followers, what a time. That's a whole other podcast. However, I was there as Sailor Mars, which was super, super fun. It's always great. What I love about the Sailor Moon community is that, like, if you are Sailor Moon cosplayer, I feel at the very least, I've only had wonderful experiences with seeing other Sailor Scouts. I saw only one other Sailor Mars when I was there, and the moment that we saw one another, we were like, oh, you look great, like, you're awesome, you look so good. And that's how I feel about, like, all the cosplayers. I feel like they're actually a really, like, wonderfully not competitive community. Like, when it comes to that fandom, we tend to all be very nice to one another, and that was really fun. That cosplay, the only thing is, like, that wig dough. That wig dough was getting so tangled. It's so long, and then by the end of the day,
have you tried like steaming it? Maybe
that's what I'm gonna try next.
Like hitting it with a steamer and then
because I combed it out for sure, and like try my way with it. But it's really, really long. Like it really is like past the butt long sort of deal.
I see that.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
She actually has a book right over here that has her picture on it. Yeah, my it really is a long wig.
In like a beautiful little magazine, which was very nice. But yeah, it's a very long wig, and that can be for me. I love cosplay, and wigs can make the cosplay. They 100% can make or break the cosplay. Right. I feel like sometimes, I hate wigs. If I could never wear a wig again, I'd be thrilled. I'd be thrilled. I wear
honestly, I'm not gonna lie. When I had hair, I would always try and either style it or try and see if I could like make do with, because I would always try and incorporate my hair, and then as it happened, I was like, oh, I see this isn't going to happen. I see I need to go and buy wigs now.
There it is.
And that's whole part and parcel of, growing up and getting old.
But here we are.
But here we are.
But you rock this better. Like, you rock this so hard.
I do.
You do.
I really do.
There's nobody can deny it.
One of my friends was like, "Are you going to wear a wig for Raven?" And I was like, "No."
No, and you looked amazing.
I'll just go bald. I don't care.
There it is.
It worked for the costume.
It worked so well.
For the costume.
Yeah, it worked really
well. And the same thing for Catwoman. And I love getting into my Catwoman cosplay so much.
Yes. Yep.
Because tight spandex always makes you look thinner.
There it is. There we are.
Tight spandex will always make you look thinner. And I was very fortunate because also, I hope you guys were like noticing this, and I noticed a couple of statuses that New York Comic Con was pretty lenient on the weapons policy.
They were. We talked about this in our first episode extensively.
And
I'm not gonna lie. I think that other entrance was actually like a kind of good idea. I don't know about you.
Helped.
I don't know about you.
It helped. It took up a decent amount of space.
It definitely took out amount of space. But like, I will say that this year, it took me the least amount of time ever to get into the con.
No, it's true.
It took me no time at all, and I didn't see any of those garbage bins that you normally see.
No, they were not full of props.
I saw a lot of people with some really awesome props. Yeah, we talked about it so much. We were like, oh, they're the worst with weapons, and they were pretty good about prop weapons this year. They were pretty good about them.
And my darling Yum Yum Kitty on Instagram got a fabulous video of me doing what I do best.
If you have not seen this video of Tom, you need to check it out ASAP. It's amazing.
Little backstory here. When I was younger, I was obsessed with Catwoman. I always loved the character.
Yes.
Michelle Pfeiffer did a fabulous job.
Oh, yes, I agree.
And Julie Newmar, Eartha Kitt, Lee Merriweather, Anne Hathaway, they all did a fabulous job as a character.
Yes.
So I know a lot about the character. And
Yeah.
congratulations to Batman and Selena on getting married. Even Bruce and Selena on getting Batman and Selena. I know what I'm talking about. Bruce and Selena on getting engaged or married or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was very, very. No Batman proposed to me once. I was very disheartened.
I'm so sorry, Boo. I'm so sorry for your loss.
I'm fine.
It'll happen in the future.
I'm sure.
You've put it out there now. You've put it out there. I want everyone to remember this moment months from now when Tom is like, you would not believe it, Katsucon. Men everywhere. Men, women, everyone on their knees just proposing. Bending the knee.
There was... You know nothing, Jon Snow.
You know nothing.
There was one gentleman, as I jump from subject to subject. There was a gentleman who was dressed up as Batman with his girlfriend, who I think was dressed up as a Harley Quinn. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him and I said, "Are you going to get down on one knee for me?" And he says, "I'm like, yeah." I got you scared, don't I, honey?
Got you scared now.
But yeah, I always love bringing my bull up to conventions and being able to crack it and just scare the ever-loving shit out of everybody.
Yeah, so pretty much to sum it up in the video, Tom gets it ready and whips it out. And gets it ready, whips it out. And the crack that the whip makes. And my favorite is the sound of the people.
Oh, the people after it literally, I was like, yes, scream, like, scream, please.
Like, it was so great. It
was literally like the Wilhelm gasp was put into,
it
was fantastic.
It was
fantastic. So and, just going to New York Comic Con was definitely a better experience than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
And I think more people were in the mind of, yes, we really should only be going on 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
Because if you do too much, it exhausts the hell out of you. And going only one day for her, 2 days for me, it was exhausting.
And I left the con, and I said this to a bunch of people that had been there for like the 3 or 4 days when I was there, and I was like, how do you feel about this year? And they said, you know what, it was better than expected, but I still wish I had only done 1 or 2 days. And I usually do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm usually a complete 3-dayer. This year I was a little, you get a little apprehensive. You're like, am I going to feel left out after I do only 1 day? Because sometimes I do. Sometimes I see the Instagram post and I'm like, oh, I wish I was
doing better there.
Yeah, and this year I really left and I was like, this was a good experience. I felt good about it. I didn't stress out about it beforehand. I felt like completely at ease with it, and I went for as long as I wanted, and then I went home.
And then you went home, and that was the end.
And here we are. Yeah.
And I'm actually glad you brought that up. Mm-hmm. We were discussing earlier before we even started to record about the amount of people that we have just become so friendly with and so wonderful, such. Cosplay at the end of the day really is a family. It is a community, and when you have people from all different states, countries, even coming to just see you and be with you, and yes, go to the con as well, but I'm going to be honest, but my number one reason that I go to conventions is to see the people, is to see your friends.
I can't even say like cosplay is honestly number 2 in that list, because I would still go to a convention dressed down if I knew that a bunch of my friends were going to be there.
Exactly. And the sad thing is, even though you're going to a convention to see friends, you're still going to miss out on seeing several people here and there.
Completely.
And case in point.
There it is. Yeah.
But yeah, it really was nice to see as many people as we both did.
Completely.
And even though we didn't see as many people as we would have liked to, there's always going to be other opportunities.
Absolutely.
Especially, I mean, granted, if you live in California or Wisconsin or other types of far off distant places,
yes,
it's going to be a little challenging. But if you're local, like in the city or possibly Jersey, even Connecticut in some places, I know that. I mean, you don't necessarily have to go to a convention to see people. You can try and like make plans with someone. You can try and say, I miss the ever-loving shit out of you. I want to see you. Can we please try and make something happen?
Yep, absolutely.
And I think that goes a long way in this community, because you get you just get to talk to everybody. And
absolutely.
It's a nice feeling to know that there are people out there that actually appreciate and understand and want to I don't know, have a better relationship with you.
Oh, and that is one thing that I will say a lot of people in the cosplay community I've found are really open to, because we all do have these kind of like long distance relationships with each other.
With a lot of people.
With a lot of people that like, when the time comes, like you really put in the effort. You really put in the effort to like catch up with that person and to reach out to them. And two of my best friends now, we've known each other for about, I think, like 5 years now. Mm-hmm. We met through pretty much cosplay and the Doctor Who fandom and whatever. And the two of them, I find it's like such a wonderful example of like, I literally would not know them without
going to conventions and cosplay.
And like, we try to now get together because like one of them now lives in the city with his boyfriend, and one of the other one lives in Connecticut with her husband. And like, we try now to at least a couple times a year, like, get together and like rehash it, because we might not be at the same cons, but it's so difficult. It can be so difficult. And that's why, like, at the end of the day, you really make that extra effort to go to these places, because you're like, this might be the only chance that I get to just because of location, not because we don't like each other a lot, but just because of location.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that that was one of the things like she said, it was one of the reasons why we wanted to go to New York Comic Con in the first place, was to see all of our friends and our family and so on and so forth.
Yep.
And I'm very glad that cosplay has given this outlet to a lot of individuals to have this sort of connection with different people.
Completely. And I mean, and that's supported by then the internet, which is wonderful, because we can all
technology. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, it is. It's a blessing.
It's a blessing and a curse.
But it's like, you can do this wonderful thing of like, you could Skype with those people, or you could, keep up with each other on Facebook just casually and like at least know. And if somebody, we've both had these situations before where like you see somebody that maybe you haven't seen in a couple months, but that's a cosplay friend that clearly is going through something, and you shoot them a message and you're like,
course,
I'm here for you. I know we don't get to see each other every day, but I care about you.
And that's where we're very similar in the fact that we will go out of our way. Like if I see anybody in distress, I'll usually be like, "What's wrong? Mama's here. Mama's got you. Talk to me."
And not even in not in a gossipy whatever. Like, I want to know your whatever sort of deal. But like,
absolutely.
I want to make sure that
you're okay, and that you're not going to do anything harmful or dangerous or disastrous.
Yeah.
And I think, not to toot our own horns, but I think the community needs more.
I think, no, I do. I think so. I'm going to be real modest right now. And say, like, you need more of me. That's not, I'm 100% kidding. I'm so sorry. Watch as like 12 people leave. The 12 people that are watching leave. No, I really do. I think it is a pattern that I do notice, though, in the cosplay community, that we all are really... Because at the end of the day, the community is also very, very upfront about like anxiety and struggling on a daily basis with these sorts of things, and the reasons why we cosplay.
Actually, we're going to touch on that in just a moment.
Yeah, we really do. Like, that is a thing that I feel like the community is really getting to be wonderfully open about with one another. And so I think it's important to then, if you can do that second step, if you feel prepared enough and whatever to do that second step and be like, hey, I'm here for you. Let me help you in whatever way it is, whether you want to talk about what's actually going on or you just need somebody to talk to in general and to say, hey, how was your day? Like, that we can provide that sort of support within the community. And I think that's a wonderful thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
However.
Yeah, go for it.
I know that social anxiety exists.
Yeah.
I know that people have a hard time understanding when it's time to take a hike, basically.
Oh, yes, I see where you're going. And yes, I understand.
I think people, I do understand, like, why people have these sort of attachment issues where they want to, like, stay with the group for a little bit or what have you. But, and every time I see it, I'm just like... When is that person going to get the hint?
Yes.
The other thing is when a person is just left to their own devices, and because again, it really is a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, you'll have people that are just walking by themselves and you want to like go up to them and be like, hey, how are you? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then there are people that will go up to you and they'll just stand there and stare at you and hope that you notice them. And that I think is an issue that I've been seeing a little bit more frequently.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want I want there to be not so much more of an understanding about these social cues and these social anxieties. What's wrong?
No,
okay.
I'm listening. No, I'm just listening. I'm just listening to what you're saying.
And I would want there to be more. I don't know. I just want there to be more knowledge on the topic of social cues and social anxieties and also understanding, like, if someone is making you uncomfortable, you have the option to say, I apologize, but you're making me really feel some type of way.
Completely.
I think that there's this, I don't want to say the term oversensitivity, but there's this disconnect sort of where it's like, I want to say to this person, you're making me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yep.
Rather than just ignore them, just be like, listen, I understand that you want to be close to us, but the way you're making us feel right now is very like again, you're making me feel some type of way, because there really is no nice way to say shoot.
Yeah. And I think the thing that the instance that I get, I think, the most with that at conventions is through photographers too. A lot of people, and casual, not actual photographers either, just people that are also just taking photos at cons.
Yes.
Because to be fair, there is a disconnect also between people that go to conventions often and that don't. So maybe they don't understand. But there's also this weird thing that exists that I think almost any cosplayer has experienced, where people think that they're entitled to pictures of you because you have dressed up, and so therefore you must want people to take pictures of you. There's this weird, like, there's the line of thinking that I definitely have noticed, and I will say I noticed was a bigger problem at New York Comic Con this year than it normally is. I feel, and I know some people, I've had friends in the past that are not cosplayers that have gone to conventions and have said, well, I feel a little awkward asking someone for a photo. But if you feel a little awkward asking someone for a photo, then maybe you shouldn't be taking a photo. Then it's kind of like, that's fine, and I understand that, but then you might not get that photo.
There was one instance that I saw, and I was actually very happy about it. There was one gentleman who took a picture of me and two of my friends.
Yeah.
And he turned around and he said, "Here's the picture. Do you want me to post this on social media?" And I think that is so wonderful.
Yes.
Because and you're gonna get a kick out of this, because I know that you've been there with me.
Yes.
When you're just standing there and you see someone lift up their phone and you just have to turn it on. That's why we always look so poised and polished.
Exactly.
Even when we're not even in cosplay.
Yes,
it's like you never know who's going to be around to take a picture.
Yeah, it is a thing.
Also has a lot to do with vanity, doesn't it?
It does. That's fair. Yeah, I don't listen. It's so funny. It's funny because I don't mind looking weird in a photo, but I like that when it's like
you like that it's a good weird.
I
like that it's purposely
when it's purposely weird. Like I 100%. I sometimes I feel 300% confident and like ready to take any photo and that I look great. And then sometimes I'm like, I don't think I'm really killing this. Let's just make a funny face instead. And that's me taking control of the situation, I guess. But yeah, I think people have to realize it's like
we're people.
I get it that sometimes
yes, we are costumed individuals, but we have feelings too.
Yeah, and I think we also have to remove the idea that a person that's worked really hard on a costume. I know a couple people that really don't enjoy having their photo taken at cons, even though they work really hard on these cosplays. They do it for themselves and because they really enjoy crafting.
Exactly.
And as a byproduct now, of course, people want to also like recognize that and take photos, but not everybody necessarily wants that. Not everybody is also in this to then like get photos back of themselves and like have all these things.
No, they're not like me.
No, they're not like me. They're not. They don't want that Insta. So, yeah, that's a thing that I'd really like to. And I do think that some of it comes out of social awkwardness, which I get.
Very much so.
But there's only a certain line.
There's only a line that, like, at what point does it become stalking almost?
Yeah. Yes.
And at what point do we have to like say,
yeah,
this person's, I'm going to go and talk to security. And that's another thing I want to bring up because, and this is something that I've actually had in my own experiences. I was at, oh God, what convention was it? I think it was Anime Boston,
Yeah.
I think it was Anime Boston, where this older gentleman, I want to say he had to have been in his like late 40s, it just came up to me in a group of my friends and was like verbally hitting on the teenagers.
Nope.
And it just got to a point where I was like, if this guy is at this convention, I'm going to talk to security.
Yeah.
And security is more than happy to take a description, take any information that they can, and try and see if they can wheedle this person. Is that a word, wheedle? I know it's a Pokemon, but is it? I know it's. I broke Kristen.
I know it's a Pokemon. I like the way that you said it when you were like, is that a word? I know it's a Pokemon though. I know it's a Pokemon.
But it's sort of like
weed them out.
To weed them out. That's the term. Thank you. Just sort of weed out these sort of creepers, really, and it also is a little difficult when some of these creepers are also cosplayers. And you don't know where to where
the lines
put them or where the lines draw.
This year, I think I even maybe went a little bit overboard, but I'd rather go overboard than not. Even some people that ask to take a photo with me, when they come up, I'd be like, "Is it okay if I put my arm around you?" And I'd be like, because now I'm just so conscious of that. There are some people that they don't like to be touched during photos. They don't like to be like cosplayers and people that then are asking for a photo. There are some people that don't like. It's just kind of respecting people's boundaries. And I love in the comment. I don't love this. It's just a perfect example. Our friend Alex said in the comments that he yelled at this dude to get out of his shot as he snuck behind a girl and sniped shots of her booty with his cell.
That's class.
And the thing is,
class.
That's a commonplace occurrence, though.
Oh, it is.
At especially the bigger conventions, it's a commonplace occurrence. I've seen some people before definitely call out other people that are doing it, and that's
a wonderful thing.
Especially because a person in that moment too. Sometimes it can be really like, what do I say to get this person away from me? Sometimes you're also like, if I say something to this person, they're going to harass me more. Is it going to turn into a scene sort of deal? And these are thoughts that might go through your head in a moment, and then you don't say anything. So sometimes if you see something, say something. Yeah, it is a big. Sometimes the person in the moment might not feel comfortable saying something, and I always appreciate. There was one time last year where there was a photographer at I think it was Garden State Comic Fest. I think that's what it was, Garden State Comic Fest, and I was actually with a different Sailor Moon group, and we were all standing around, and there was a photographer from a local newspaper that kept on coming around, and he was taking really uncomfortable photos of us, at really weird angles, when we very clearly were not posing for photos, and I finally came out and said something, and I was like, okay, you could very easily ask for a photo, and whatever, and he ended up using us.
Take a picture, it'll last long.
Yeah, and he was like, this is a public space, and I was like, yeah, but you could just ask for a photo. We're not. Whatever.
Be a decent human being and actually ask.
Exactly, just be a decent human being.
Cosplay is not consent.
It's not, and that a lot of people think of that just in the sexual harassment terms, which is great because that's a big issue. However, it's also in photographs, it's in touching people, it's in going up and touching someone's costume.
There was actually one cosplayer friend of mine where she was held from the waist, and she came up to me and she goes, "Yes. Good. You hold from the waist. You don't hold from the hips." And I'm
yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People like to get handsy, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, it's not, and it's very clear when someone has put their hand in the wrong place, really by a mistake, and they quickly move it.
And they'll move their hand.
And you can tell that they did not intend that. You can probably tell the difference. There was a girl at New York Comic Con this past weekend who put her arm around me, and she went a little bit too low, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I was like, "That's fine." I was like, "That's fine."
And that's you're gonna get a kick out.
Yeah.
Whenever I try, and not to sneak up on somebody, but I do from time to time because I'm Catwoman. I sneak up on people.
Sneak up on people.
And I'll just quickly go around and lay my hand on the waist. Right. I will never put my hand on the ass, or I will never put my hand on their hips. I will just wrap around, and 2 people have said, "Who's gripping me so warmly and so lovingly?" And then, it's just Tom.
It's Tom. It's Tom. But you also have a repertoire with those people.
I do. Exactly. I will never go up to a stranger and do that. I would go up to people that I know. That when the turnaround is just like, it's Tom.
Yeah, that's in that exact voice.
In that exact voice. Every time.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing to be considered, and it's something that I would like to see. I think some people might argue it's talked about too much, and I argue it's not talked about enough because it's still happening.
I agree.
And I don't see enough people calling it out.
The boards that were like cosplay is not consent, they haven't stopped anybody.
No, they haven't. And we as a community, this is when it's like rally the community sort of deal. We as a community can like help protect one another. We can help to like keep one another safe, keep one another comfortable. Like if you see something, say something. You're not gonna, at the worst case scenario, you go to security, and that's right. Fine. Yes. And don't feel uncomfortable doing that. Like you have.
Remember how we used to be taught this years ago when we were in elementary school? I know. There's strength in numbers.
Yes, exactly.
Find an adult.
Really
find an adult.
Find an adult. Find a fellow adult. Find someone that is more adult than you are.
Find
the next closest adult. Oh God.
I need an adult. Wait, I'm an adult.
I'm an adult. No, I'm not. No. Yes.
Sometimes.
I pay bills.
I
pay bills.
Sometimes finding an authoritative figure will be most helpful.
Yes.
As long as you find the right ones, because even though you do that, there are going to be some like security officers that'll just be like, well, you're dressed like that.
Yes, and that's awful. And if you ever feel uncomfortable at a convention and you see, and there are people near you and you feel uncomfortable, security hasn't done anything about it, you go up to a group of people and you say, I'm sorry, can I stand with you? I need help. Can I stand with you? There is somebody near me that's one thing that I have done before. I've had both people swoop in for me when they think that somebody was with me a little too long and it doesn't seem like I know them. I had that happen at Anime Next a couple years ago, and somebody swooped in and she's like, hi, how are you? Whatever, and like came over and she's like, oh, can you come over and take a pic with us really quick? And she was like, I felt like I got a bad vibe over there. Are you okay? Whatever. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with politely being like,
there's actually been instances where friends of mine have said, if I see someone in an awkward situation, I'll pull them closer and I'll just be like, you're my girlfriend now, or like, you're my best friend now. So we're just going to like hold on to each other because it's a creeper. Like,
the worst case scenario, you say to that person, oh, I know that person. It's totally fine. And then you go back to it. There's like so little to be like lost in this sort of situation. There's so much that you can do. And I've always been really grateful when people have done that for me. And I've always felt so good after doing that for other people, because you can tell when somebody needs to be pulled away or needs to be like, oh, hey, let's go look at that thing over there. It's so easy. It's so easy to do. I like this. I like Samia. I hope I'm saying your name right. Samia says a public place is no excuse to disrespect someone's boundaries, and I think that's a great way to sum it up. It's no excuse.
There's no excuse for any of it.
Not at all.
And I was very fortunate because I didn't see much through my own eyes. I didn't see that much at the convention when I went this weekend.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate that I wasn't privy to any of like no one actually came up to me saying, or I didn't notice anybody like being creepy or whatnot. I was very, very thankful for that. But there are instances when just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Not happening. Exactly. Yeah. Be on the lookout. Look out for your fellow cosplayers.
That was a good quote. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening.
It's not happening. Yeah. It is almost certainly happening. So I feel like every year after New York Comic Con and any big convention, this isn't just New York Comic Con by any means, but after every major convention, some sort of thing comes out where, again, like a creepy dude or a creepy girl or whoever, it does not discriminate against gender either.
The genders are equal.
Genders are equal. Like somebody takes an uncomfortable photo of someone and you see that person finds out about it, and like that's just like that's a thing that we can prevent. If you're seeing it and you're like,
I'm not feeling it.
Like, what are you doing there? That's it. Almost certainly other people will come to your defense in that if they've also noticed it. But you can be the one that starts it, the one that initiates it.
It starts with you.
That's it. We are your high school teachers.
Oh, God, I'm getting flashbacks of the DARE program.
Right, no, right? Exactly. That's it. That's any merch we ever have is just going to look like DARE. It's just going to be like really like bizarrely. You're like, yeah, they told you that in elementary school. It still counts.
It still counts.
It's still happening.
All right. We are at the 40 minute mark, and I think it's time we say goodbye to all our company.
Yes. Thank you so much for staying with us, though.
Thank you for staying with us for this long.
Absolutely. If you liked this, if you like this live show, podcast, etc., if you would go and like our Facebook page,
yes,
Catt and Kristen. We have one now. For now, we're going live from Tom's page, but we will soon.
We will soon be going from our own
page,
and then share them equally, but because just spread it around.
Just spread it. We want to thank you for spreading it around so well.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh my God, the reception that we got at Comic-Con was exquisite.
Both Tom and I had people come up to us at the convention and tell us that they were loving what we're doing so far, and that's insane to me. That is.
Thank you so much.
So we love that. It's facebook.com/Catt and Kristen. If you're searching it, it's just Catt & Kristen. You'll get it. You'll get it. And otherwise, you can find me at Shut Up Kristen on pretty much all the things. Where can they find you, Tom?
They can find me on Instagram at _Tom_Catt, and that's my Instagram handle. And Tomcat pretty much anywhere else. My Facebook. I do have a professional Facebook page, Tomcat Con Mom.
Yes, exactly. All my professional stuff is under Shut Up Kristen, KRISTEN. I'm a 10.
Not a 10.
I love you, Tins. I love you, Tins. There's nothing wrong with you. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble one of these days. All right. We love you, and we will see you soon.
Yes, we will. Ciao meow for now, babies. Mwah.
Mwah.